This is Hunter the Red Dragon. We are back with another playthrough for Fate Grand Order, and we're going to be getting into the Forbidden Advent Garden, Salem. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Hopefully this time I won't have any issues. Not bad at all. In fact, I dare say it came out rather well. Good morning, Sansan. Having a late breakfast? Oh, what a wonderful smell. Is that a crepe? Morning, Mosh. No, this is a buckwheat galette. I heard we've procured some lovely ham and found myself hooked after spending some time with the chef. So, you're using ham, cheese, and soft-boiled egg, and is that zucchini? It looks delicious. Thank you. I often had galettes just like this when I was growing up in Paris. They were originally a peasant's dish from the Brittany region. It's even said they were served at the palace of King Louis the 14th, I believe, right? Or is that 15th? Mother Anne of Austria. Ideally, I would have liked to pair it with hard cinder, but... Oh, right, exactly. You couldn't do that because we've run out, right? Apparently, someone broke into the kitchen and stole most of our alcohol. And I wonder who that could be. Wait, really? Was it a thief? I think so, since a number of rooms also experience inexplicable blackouts around the same time. So it has to be, basically. That's why I'm on the case right now. Holmes has been preoccupied with something in the hangar lately, so it's up to me to be the detective this time. I see. In that case, I will gladly offer my assistance. Ever since the search for the 7 Holy Grails came to an end, what has brought me the greatest joy is the drastic improvement made to Caldea's pantry. It's thanks to them that servants like us can enjoy seasonal delicacies and flavors from around the world. I am so grateful to be able to experience so many wonderful tastes, but it's a shame to learn that there is a thief among us here in Caldea. Me too. Since Caldea is still responsible for preserving humanity, managing our food stockpiles is important. Well said. Ugh, my head. I feel sick. Good morning, Robin Hood. You seem a bit under the weather. Oh, morning, Mosh. Don't mind me. I can smell the alcohol from here, Robin. He's clearly hungover. He must have drunk an immense amount to be this affected despite being a servant. Fortunately, this works out well. Here, Robin, drink up this onion soup. It'll get you hydrated and replenish some of the salt you lost. Speaking of, I need to actually get hydrated myself. My fucking tongue hurts. If that doesn't cure your hangover... Wait. If that doesn't clear your hangover... Or drink a glass of water with some baking soda to reduce the acidity in your stomach. No thanks, I'm not drinking that. I've smelled rotting animals that weren't so rank. There aren't even any medical herbs in it. And you know this how? Are you able to sniff the herbs? I mean, it's not like you're a witch or an alchemist or... Does that really matter, dude? I don't think so. I knew it! You're still in bad shape. What help could you be if there was an emergency right now? None help. Won't you please consider taking Sensen's advice and having the soup? Also, I would appreciate it if you could tell me what happened last night. And please don't skimp on the details. Last night? Okay, if that's what you want, I couldn't care less what Dr. Frenchie says, but I can't say no to you. Still, there's not that much to tell. I just kind of ended up getting roped into a little drinking party the authors were having. Excuse me 1 minute. Sometimes it's nice to just cut loose and drink like there's no tomorrow. Can consequences be damned, you know? Anyways, the last thing I remember is Amadeus crashing the party and drinking the last of the booze. After that, it's all a blank. Ah, Amadeus, I swear that man is a bottomless pit where alcohol is concerned. He always shows up unannounced at parties, drains the wine cellar as if it were his own, and doesn't even pay a single écu to boot. Robin, were you perhaps sent to raid the kitchen last night as an errand boy of sorts? Now that you mention it, I think something like that might have happened. He thinks he is that drunk. I see. I'm glad I'm making progress. I'm pretty sure he basically, well, he almost confessed to the damn crime. I knew I could resolve a small case like this without asking Holmes for help. At any rate, it seems clear that you were all getting plastered on Cardea's reserves. Indeed. What a sorry sight. Yeah, not all of us were brought up with the luxury of using proper knives and forks for our dainty little breakfast, unlike some nobles I know. I'm not a noble. Oh, is that so? Maybe you're not, but you aren't exactly one of us commoners either, are you? What's going on with Robin? Does he have some sort of problem with Sanson? Not really a problem per se, just shit, how do you even go about this? An alarm? What does that tablet of yours say, Mosh? Let me see. It's a Type 3 alert. An abnormality has been spotted somewhere far away. Hey, I'll head for the command room. Can we turn it down? This sound is the last thing I needed with this hangover. Headache. Robin, you need to take care of your hangover before you do anything else. Agreed. Once you do that, I shall take you to see the shift. Got it. Take care, Mosh. Don't push yourself too hard now. Looks like things have finally calmed down. Guess they've got a handle on the situation now. Ah well, it ain't any of my business. I'm A-OK steering clear of the limelight. All those hot-blooded hero types can handle demon schemes and threats to humanity just fine without me. Ah, this soup really does hit the spot. Wait, did you just drink the soup after complaining about it, dude? Oh, I'm here. What's the situation? You're looking fluffy as ever, Mosh. Her bedhead. Did you say fluffy? I'm afraid I don't know what you mean by that, but thank you, senpai. In fact, you're looking kind of fluffy yourself too. Like here, where you still got some bedhead. Okay, you two, it's too early in the morning for flirting and the command room isn't the place. Yeah. Aye, Yoda, just wait a second. Excuse me. That's better. Now then, here's the information we got so far. You can fix your bedhead while you listen, Dante. First of all, we know that the alarm originated in North America. We're detecting an incredible magical energy signature, but the threat level is fairly low, at least for now. At the moment, we're sending in a fleet of investigative drones to collect more intel and communicating with the local authorities. We're also coordinating with the North American branch of the Mages Association, since Chaldea doesn't observe this phenomenon. However, there aren't many association agents in North America, so I doubt they'll be of much help. We need to call the men in black then, I don't know. Where exactly in North America is this coming from? If you'll direct your attention to the screen right here, this image was just taken by one of our security satellites. The United States East Coast, specifically an area known north of Boston, Massachusetts. Come to think of it, it's still the middle of the night over there, isn't it? Even so, it's so dark. I don't see any hint of light anywhere. It looks more like a crater than anything. That's right, it's pitch black, complete and total darkness. We can't detect so much as a faint hint of artificial light within a perfectly circular 7-kilometer radius. This is no blackout or freak weather. Magecraft is the only explanation for something like this. Naturally, since it's covered in such total darkness, we don't have any other visual data. Do we know what's in the middle of this darkness? As I recall, there was a port town here at the inlet. I think its name was Salem. It is a cursed name, both for the white man and for us. Geronimo. My presence was requested, and so I have come. Are you sure I can be of use, Da Vinci? My tribe knows little of the sea, after all. I'm sure, Giuliano. No, in fact, you're the perfect warrior for the job. The proud members of your tribe have been attuned to the land's voice since ancient times, so we could really use your wisdom right now. I see. So this situation has become so dire that you're making a formal request for my help. Very well. I will be of assistance however I can. What about the people inside the darkness? Are they all right? At the moment, we have no way of knowing. So far, the U.S. Army's reconnaissance drone hasn't picked up any signs of the local populace or even any radio transmission. Simply put, 50,000 people who just finished their perfectly ordinary day have inexplicably disappeared. I can only imagine what the White House advisors are going through right now. Right now in the run-up to the inevitable press conference. That's terrible. Could this be a demon god pillar? You mean one of the demon god pillars that escaped when Goeta was destroyed? Yes, Dante. This is almost certainly the work of a demon god pillar. That said, the extent to which it seems not to even be, making an effort to conceal the hideous nature of this anomaly concerns me. In the other abnormalities we've dealt with over the past several months, like Shinjuku and Agartha, the culprits tried to keep their identities a secret. On top of that, both of these singularities occurred in the past. Hell, in Agartha's case, it was so thoroughly hidden that it was literally miles underground. But that is not the case here. It's taking place right now and is so obvious that even the US government knows about it. Neither of the other demon god pillars attempted anything like this, and that is truly worrying. Still, at least this singularity is on a much smaller scale. It reminds me of Fuyuki in how it only covers a single town. I wish most of them only cover single town, because going through them is a pain in the ass. Okay. Small scale only in comparison with what we have seen so far, you mean, but even now I can see this tragedy unfolding before my eyes. I pray that the drawing sun will chase away the curtains of darkness that has befallen this land. So, what will you do now, Da Vinci, and you, my friend? We have to get to Salem right now, obviously. Right, senpai. I am afraid I disagree. The time is not yet right. But there are people in clear and present danger, 50,000 of them no less. We do not know for sure that this is not a trap. It's possible that we may end up being glad that only tens of thousands of people lost their lives there. We are still very much in the dark ourselves. All we know for certain is what Da Vinci said. Never before have we seen such a bold approach as this. I sense that the demon god lying away in the darkness, is more cautious and villainous than any we have faced yet. Da Vinci, have there been any updates in the investigation? Any further details come to light? Yes, there have been a few more updates, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. When the darkness first appeared, it quickly expanded to its current radius in just a few seconds before its progress suddenly stopped. Since then, it's remained completely static, at least from the outside. Mages from the association have sent in familiars, but we've lost contact with each and every one of them. Land, sea, low flare, no matter how the familiar attempts to infiltrate the darkness, not a single one of them has reported back. On top of that, the directors of Boston's Holy Church haven't been quiet about this either. This unidentified phenomenon precludes the use of magical evacuation sacrifices, runes, evocations, summoning circles, and anti-force and anti-RB noble phantasms in the area surrounding Salem. These areas include parts of Brewery, Peabody, Danvers, Marblehead, Swampscott, and Leon. We regretfully report that we have not recovered any evidence of magical involvement, nor can we completely rule it out in regards to the situation. All that means this phenomenon has taken the church completely by surprise. So, it's safe to conclude that none of the persons of interest they've been keeping an eye on have gone near Salem either. You can tell this was a real bitter pill for them to swallow, especially since especially given how proud they are. It's a bit of a surprise for them to throw up their hands in bafflement like this. No, that's not to say they're at a loss for words. One of them went on to add, were I to venture my personal opinion, I might say that it seems as if the very hand of God himself has laid waste to the land. Could you believe that? Sure, it doesn't sound like something a man of the cloth should go around saying, if you ask me. Well, it would appear to be a different God than the one their faith sees as the one true God. Right. I've heard rumors about Chaldea staff being stationed around the world for some time now. But I had no idea they were also working at Mages Association branches in the Holy Church. Of course they are. They're covert agents we've planted on site to blend into their respective areas. Okay. The Chaldea Security Organization hasn't just been sitting around twiddling its thumbs waiting for these stray demon gods to reappear, you know. These agents are just a part of our overall effort, though I have to admit that it wasn't easy finding people with no familial or community ties to come to work for us. Roman always excelled at hiring the right kind of people. He did leave behind a manual detailing his procedure, but it's just not the same. Still, it definitely helped once I know where to look. It was just a matter of balancing the budget. I recruited mages, demonology experts, and exorcists, and stationed them in cities of interest. And Boston just so happened to be one of them. The other North American agents should all be gathered there by now. At this point, we're still just running recon since we're not on site ourselves. The best thing we can do right now is gather as much information as we can and figure out our next move. So we wait for news from people we trust. That's right. At times like this, there's nothing wrong with depending on others for help. You've really grown, Dante. Trying to handle everything yourself is a height of arrogance and can lead you to terrible mistakes, and in the end, you're left with nothing but grief. I'm relieved to see that self-sacrifice isn't your answer to everything anymore. I don't remember it ever being an answer to anything I've done, but okay. Still, isn't there anything we can do? Of course, plenty. In fact, now that the alert level has been risen, we're getting reports from all over the world. Somebody has to determine if they're authentic and whether they're related to what's happening in Salem. I'd like you to handle that, Mosh. Understood. Now I think it's about time we pulled in a certain detective to help us out. His work in the hangar should probably have gotten boring to him by now, so he'll probably be in his room or just wandering around Caldea. Dante Yeager, would you mind speaking with Holmes yourself? Of course, I doubt you'll have much luck when he's barely even paid attention to what Winston has to say. I see, don't worry, we'll handle that too. I'll drag him in here by force if I have to, just like Mrs. Hudson. Besides, Da Vinci, have you been cooped up in here since last night? Ah, you noticed, did you? You're right, I was actually in the middle of testing a certain summon when the alarm sounded. Just between us, the timing couldn't have been worse. Even geniuses like me can make mistakes. For a moment, I was afraid I might unwittingly cause the second huge Caldea explosion. Well, you can't blame me. After Caldea's main power and backup power looked like they were about to get knocked out. I see another piece of the puzzle and my investigation falls into place. Wait, backup, that sounds really important. Thanks in advance for your help, Mosh. You too, Giomino. As for you, Dante, I want you to be ready for anything, like a good master. I agree, Senpai. Please, let us handle this for now. I may no longer be able to fight on the front lines, but in return, I'll do everything I can to support you from back here. That's the sort of kohai I aspire to be. That is adorable. Heh heh. Thanks for waiting, everyone. We're nearly ready to begin this operation now. What's more, this will almost certainly end up being the final wave shift. I highly doubt that. The final race shift. Why is that? Because we now know that this is the very last demon god pillar, the last singularity to be observed on Earth. We may not have been able to determine where the demon god pillar that escaped from the Temple of Time had hidden themselves, but we're able to find the distortion in space-time they created whenever they went. Not that we could have done that without Chaldea, of course, and it's those readings that are telling us this will be the last. The Majors Association and the UN have jointly jointly decided to halt all race ship operations following this pseudo-spiritron transfer. After this, barring authorization from the new calendar being appointed in December, we won't be able to race shift anymore no matter what. That's disappointing to hear, but it does make sense. We shouldn't be race shifting after humanity has stabilized anyway, since it does involve time travel. And time travel is apparently a sin. Exactly, which is why the racial technology will be sealed away once we dealt with this final instability. It's now been 72 hours since this large-scale disappearance occurred on the east coast of North America, with Salem at its center. Let me start by telling you what we've learned directly from our own investigation and information gathering. First off, we decided to call the darkness that sprang up out of nowhere to cover all of Salem the mist. Given how it absorbs all visible light and the other forms of electromagnetic waves and doesn't obey any laws of physics, we are certain it's an instance of magecraft. Its scale remains unchanged since it first appeared, as I mentioned earlier, a near perfect circle with a radius of 7 kilometers. We also know that the mist extends upward to an average altitude of 600 meters. Wow, that's a lot. It's easy to enter this area, but so far nothing has done. That has done so has made it back out. Every one of the unnamed vehicles, unmanned surveillance units, drones, and closed-circuit robots sent in by the U.S. Army has been swallowed up by the dark. Either that or they simply ceased functioning the moment they got too close. They have also tried using helicopters, I'm told they are called Apaches, to lower in sensors, but all of those ended up being destroyed as well. So, not even a single drone made it back. I'm afraid not. Each and every one ended up broken and inoperable. A number of journalists snuck past the army's blockade and went into the mist themselves, but there is no sign that any of them have returned. The same is true of the trained animals that were sent in for reconnaissance, poor things. Nor have we been able to confirm any birds or other wild animals either coming from or going into the mist. So there's definitely something going on here. Something bad. Oh. Curses. Then it has become a completely barren wasteland. A barbaric land of darkness that does not suffer even a single walk to pass. We next tried to fight magecraft with magecraft by bringing in our own mages. They send in familiars protected by magical barriers, cyber demons, automatas, and more. Unfortunately, despite the local staff's best efforts, those ended in failure too. But as of last night, we finally received word that a single attempt was successful, returning with valuable new information. Could you not have just led with that and spared us all the extra nonsense? I mean, what do the U.S. Army's troubles really matter to us? How dare you! Have you no respect for the sense of duty? My schedule is completely shot thanks to having to write a manuscript on such short notice. Just look at these bags under my eyes. Boy, we can't see a damn thing. Now, my friend, I understand how you feel, but let us not make molehills into mountains. The important thing is that our work is now done. Our duty has passed like a ship in the night. You there, leave that alone. We need it for deals with the missed properties and to prepare our future countermeasures. It's especially important that you understand this part, Dante. We weren't able to contact the inside even with magecraft. So you do understand. The only thing that made it back was a single mechanical doll. It was originally designed to be a clock before a puppet master maze disguised as a clockmaker reproduced it. It's made out of oak gears, cast iron nails, and battling a robot created without any modern technology whatsoever. This medieval robot managed to bring back sketches of what things are like inside the mist by automatically transcribing what it saw with its crystal or pupils. Take a look at these. Oh, that's a simpler time. I see. Yes, this is definitely Salem. A peaceful run-of-the-mill village whose prior's residents live their lives with integrity. No, they didn't. However, this is not modern-day Salem. These sketches clearly show how it looked centuries ago. Okay, so he's talking about modern-day Salem, not past Salem. Right. We cross-referenced them with our records and found that they were identical to Salem in the late 17th century. Basically, the world within the darkness is 17th century Salem as it was in colonial times. I see, that would mean it's still British territory then. No wonder the US Army was so completely useless. Be quiet, this cowardly invasion cannot stand. What about the 50,000 people who live there now? Remember, this is not the first time this land has been invaded, and it won't ever be the last. As we've established, the record observations are of Salem in the 17th century. The only way the robot can make such observation is if the past had been faithfully recreated, or if some manner of matecraft is displaced the area itself. Displacing. Crap, I've got a freaking cramp in my leg. It's It's fascinating to ponder, but the effort this could have on humanity is immeasurable. The effect. Demon God Pillar. That reminds me. Yarno, earlier you said that the name Salem is cursed. What did you mean by that? That's all in the past now. It belongs to history. Do you mind if I tell this story, Mr. Edison? By all means, though we may wish it weren't, so this remains a part of our nation's history. Very well then, the town of Salem and its neighboring lands were home to 3 tragedies. The first was plague. When the white man came to our shores, he brought with him an epidemic that nearly wiped out the Massachusetts tribe living in Boston Harbor. The second was war, albeit this war was more of a massacre. The horror and devastation of war. The Wampanoag tribe members that managed to survive the plague put up a valiant fight, but in the end their chief's skull still became an ornament for the white man's village. Never mind that the white man only survived the cruel winter thanks to the resources the Wampanoag left behind. It's a stroke of truly bitter irony. The state would go on to be named after the Massachusetts tribe, and these events would be celebrated as a national holiday. Whoa. Talking about Thanksgiving. Finally, the third tragedy that took place in Salem was the witch trials. This time, the white man went around killing his own kind, fearing the devil's influence. They hung many innocent people. I trust you know why I called it a cursed land. I do. Wait, trials? I thought the term was witch hunt. Wait, so did these trials have anything to do with John? Ha ha ha! It may seem that way, but in truth, the two events were completely unrelated. Witches were never anything more than another creation of man's favored imagination and infinite capacity for self-delusion. Ain't that the damn truth? And that's sad too. Fire burn and cauldron bubble. They are merely characters who only ever appear in works of fiction. I may have made use of them myself in my own stories, but I have never once encountered the genuine article. Media is pissed. She is seething. Calm down, sweetheart. Furthermore, those who claim these fictional beings are real in order to serve their own selfish ends are simply in denial of that delusion. You're about to get punched. No, you're about to get stabbed by a twisted knife. In my own time as well, people sense the truth through skin and sick. Even if they did rarely put pen to paper to express what they truly thought. That there is indeed a collective unconscious that fears witches and their curses. Now that some time has passed since then, I wonder what things are like in the modern day. I believe that is less relevant than one might think. I have no intention in determining where in history late 17th century Salem should fall. Nevertheless, it is abundantly clear that piety was not the only thing the Puritans brought to the New World. Those who loathe sin, who would judge sinners by their own hands, are inevitably the sort who wish to engage in sin themselves. Such people will always exist no matter the day and age. It is a fundamental aspect of the criminal mind. So then, is a witch a criminal, a victim? The answer to that question has changed as people's belief have shifted over time. As one who understands the mysteries and the mystic and rejects the guidance of an unknowable God, I would say the witch trials were exactly what their name suggests, a lawful process used to pass judgment on so-called witches. So-called. An attempt to manage the frenzied panic of the witch hunt in a stylish, civilized manner. Of course, offering madness a seat at the dinner table after it comes barging in unannounced does nothing to change its inherent nature. Thus, the prescription of witches continued unabated in the West until it culminated in its final chapter in the New World. Ironically, in Salem, a land steeped in spiritual faith, it was there where the devil truly ran free, where reason and desire, scientific spirit, and occult mindset came together. Enough! Put the violin away. What possible use could it be here? If you just want to hear yourself talk, then go to your room where you won't bother anyone. Oh, was that a bit long-winded? In here, I thought I was being considerate by drawing the listeners in, which generously amount of explanation. Ahem, I think that's enough witch trial talk for now. For my part, over the last few days, I've been investigating whether there might have been any changes in past events. I've been checking the repaired foundations over and over for signs of instability. I haven't overlooked anything in yet. God, they talk too damn much. Long-winded is right. Spent an entire hour just to get to the first mission. It's fucking 3. I might have to stop soon. Something is deal going on. There's something about this singularity that unlike any we've ever seen so far. Some small distortions that threatens the very rules of our world. The data is indeed accurate, and this time is undeniably clear for all to see. Which would mean the culprit is closer to a god than a human. A demon god, to be precise. It is certainly no surprise that a demon god pillar would act veiled in secrecy, but even mysterious acts like this are bound by incontrovertible rules. However, these rules cannot be tested from the outside. To do so, one must venture inwards, to get, as they say, up close and personal. Holmes is right. Can we just go already? God, you guys talk too damn much. If we can't get information that makes sense from the outside, then we have to investigate from the inside. Master Dante Yeager, as Caldea's acting director, I am formally requesting that you be the one. Formally requesting that you be the one to enter the mist. I want you to investigate whatever is inside, rescue as many people as you can, and find the demon god pillars and destroy it. So, just another day in the life, but goddamn, you guys talk too fucking much. Okay, but how exactly do I do that? You up mush? You're up mush. Right. The mist is bounded field. We've conducted a number of tests in our analysis of the one automata that successfully returned, and learned that the mist eliminated anything made with post-19th century technology. Oh, that's interesting. That's why the cutting-edge drones that were sent in ceased to function. Oh, what's inside the mist? Well, as the acting commander said earlier, there do appear to be humans inside. What's more, we believe they are leading normal lives despite their confinement. Normal lives? Then the people who live there are alright. Not exactly. But wait a moment, wouldn't they be panicked out of their minds? I know I would. I'm afraid Unfortunately, we just don't know whether those people are safe. We haven't gathered enough information yet. As you said from the sketches, the area inside the mist has changed completely. It appears to be recreated in Salem and the way its people lived their lives in the late 17th century. Whatever the reason for that may be, that's where we need to begin. Well, I'm impressed you figured all of that out so quickly. This was information that we got near future observation lens Sheba. Incredibly detailed information. Especially given that it was observing something in present day space-time. Usually Sheba isn't much help at all, but the whole staff was puzzled by why we were able to use it here. I'm sure there's a good explanation for it, but since we don't have the time to figure it out right now, I'm just going to chalk it up to an unexpected stroke of good luck. We don't have time and yet you sat here and talked my fucking ear off. Indeed, truly this is an act of providence. God has clearly seen fit to bless us in this dire time. I don't think so, dude. Now, we shall hurry and find a way through that field whatever it takes. I agree, which is why Holmes and I put our heads together and came up with a possible strategy. A race ship that results in the same era. This way, we can send you straight to the heart of Salem without moving you across time. However, there are two major conditions involved with this plan that I need you to understand, Dante. And that would be, as I explained earlier, we got one round trip race ship period. What's more, the number of people we can race ship is severely limited. The association has already forced us to shut down the reactor in Caldea's basement, so we only have enough remaining magical energy for one last large-scale round trip. But there are exceptions to every rule. Just goes to show you can't cross a bridge until you come to it. Okay. We're not operating independently anymore. We can't afford to be optimistic or even pessimistic. As for the second condition, you'll need to dress for the occasion so that you don't stand out in the late 19th century Salem. Think of it as officially sanctioned cosplay. It may sound silly, but we believe it will be essential to letting you move around in Salem unimpeded. Sounds great to me. I'll go first then. You can't. Why not? Bill, tell them. Indeed. Once we learned all this, Lady Da Vinci asked us to come up with a scenario for infiltrating an area. I nearly fainted when I first thought she was thinking me to sneak in, so you could imagine my relief to know this is not the case. Why the F are we still talking? You do know you don't have to share every thought that comes into that swollen head of yours, don't you? After all, we servants are but a bunch of fools and eccentrics. As such, we are well suited to being actors. Thus, in this scenario, you will visit Salem as part of a traveling group of performers. A trope, if you will. What a joke. The great William Shakespeare reduced to writing a script for a glorified circus act. Hey, there's nothing wrong with the circus. I knew even before you put quill to paper that... Wait, what? What? I knew even before you put quill to paper that taking into account the inexperienced actors and the uptight audience, there was no way the script would be suitable. Now I understand. There is nothing more delightful in a story than a surprise and well conceived twist. In this case, we hardly need world-class talent, of course. We will need to be able to perform in some fashion, or the whole ploy will be for naught. But a trope is, by definition, a place where those who are otherwise unable to earn a living drift together, which makes it perfect for camouflage. Wait, hold up. You mean we're going to be performing? Is there a problem with that? I think it's a pretty clever idea myself. Ow. As for which servant will actually be joining this troupe, I decided to choose them myself, taking Bill's options into account, of course. Let me tell you, it was a terrible headache coming up with a scenario that fits these rank amateurs. Still, that's not to say I wasn't fulfilling. Go ahead and knock yourselves out with this manuscript. Just make sure you pay in full and up front. Hang on a second. So then, neither Shakespeare or Anderson will be joining this mission. I mean, this is Salem we're talking about. Hell no. What about you, Geronimo? I'm sure Senpai would be gratefully relieved to have you along. I am sorry, Mosh, but I can't do that. I wasn't cast in this operation either. No doubt they thought my inclusion would lead to unforeseen difficulties, even as a member of a trope. Yeah. The hell? Whoops. Hang on. Crap. I did not mean to do that. Stupid thing. Oh great, I'm not going through that thing again. Hold on. This is annoying. They talk too damn much. Let's skim to where we were. Shit. This is irritating. Freaking sock got caught on something, so I ended up kicking freaking. That's right, at times like this, there's nothing wrong with depending on others for help. Okay, so I was past this. Nice thing, a drone was made back. What a joke. The great Shakespeare. There we go. So we're here. Is there a problem with that? I think it's a pretty clever idea myself. As for which servants will actually be joining the troop, on the flip side of that, what's gotten into you, Medea? Wait. Shakespeare, Da Vinci, Giordano. I'm sorry much, I can't. No doubt they thought my insert would lead to the trope. I would like nothing more than to help, but if not, but not if it means putting my friends in danger. Oh, I see. On the flip side, what's gotten into you, Medea? You loved this idea from the moment you heard it. You said you'd refuse even if we used a command spell. Does the fact that you've been standing around without making a peep mean you still haven't made a decision? Well, I guess I'm still thinking about it. You want to send Medea to Salem? Are you serious? Even if she is just going to be pretending to be a troop member, that's far too dangerous. After all, Medea really is a... Exactly. Regardless of Medea's excruciating circumstances, sending a real witch to a place famous for witch hunts is the height of folly. It is the height of folly. Do not put my girl in danger, please. Ugh, boring, dull, dim-witted. I should have expected no better responses from a lion. Quite. There is not a hint of humor or adventure to be found in it. Indeed, couldn't have said it better myself. I'm going to punch every one of you in the mouth. Huh. Go ahead and laugh if you want. I'm used to being ridiculed by selfish so-called geniuses. But this is neither the time nor the place to be discussing humor or fashion or patents. There are American citizens who have been swallowed up by this darkness. Their very lives are at stake. If you want to be funny, then save it for the movies. I actually agree with him here. This is far too dangerous to even be involving her. So, we're not involving... We shouldn't be involving Medea. I understand you're very patriotic, Edison, but I'm afraid things just aren't that simple. This may be the modern day, but we're dealing with a world from the past and a town of witch hunts where external support just isn't an option. Common sense alone won't get us through this. We need a specialist expertise. I guess I understand that notion. That's why we're counting on Medea to serve in an advisory role. Well, she can advise along, but stay with Mosh so that she doesn't get hunted. If a demon god pillar is behind us, then it's going to be an extremely difficult mission. And there's no one better suited to find the line between superstition and magecraft than her. Of course, we really didn't expect this request to upset her like it has. But if she changed her mind after sleeping on it, then that's all well and good. Or that's all well that ends well. But settle down, there's no problem here. No, wait, let me try this again. Ahem. There's no need to make a fuss over things that haven't come to pass much. I swear to Hecate that I won't let any harm befall Master. What's this? Are you feeling a bit off today or something? I was just in a bad mood last night. Anyways, it's up to the Master to make the final call. And, I mean, am I wrong, little writer? I'm getting chills. There's something seriously wrong with her. What about you, Mosh? Are you coming along too? I can't. I was never part of the cast to begin with, so... Anyways, now that you've all caught up, I'm going to go ahead and begin the raid ship preparations. In the meantime, Dante Yeager, I want you to brief everyone we choose to accompany you. Remember, we don't have a lot of time before you need to leave. Yes, but guess what? You sat here and talked my freaking ear off for an hour and 10 minutes, woman. Oh my god. I especially want you to keep in mind that this is our one and only chance to raid shift. Oh? What are you reading here? Oh, this? It's the file for this mission. Did you already finish your debriefing? Me? Don't worry, I'm fine. I've been working pretty hard these last few days, but I'm feeling better now that I've had a bit of a break. Compared to what you and everyone else who is about to head to Salem must be going through. Okay, you know what? I have to actually go because today I have to actually work. It's one of my mandatory extra days. So unfortunately, we're not able to finish this, but damn, this shit talks way too much. Like seriously, an hour for just a conversation that could have been hashed out and more than half the time. Jesus Christ, people. But yeah, when we come back tomorrow, definitely tomorrow, we're going to be jumping into a very long 5-6 hour stream of Salem. So look forward to that. This has been Hunter Ray Dragon. I'm signing out. See you guys later. God.